I had someone reach out to me and ask, did I have any suggestions for practicing and rehearsing and getting ready for his first sale pitch? You know I do. Hey everyone, welcome back. I am Mike Sutton with BeBuildHave.com. I work with first generation business leaders who are getting burnout on doing and ready to just start being happy and successful in their businesses. A couple weeks ago, I did an episode about how do you figure out what you really want, and I'll put a link to it in the show notes. But I talked about a Reddit conversation that I got involved in that got a lot of attention. And somebody who was a part of that conversation reached out to me because he's trying to start a business and keeps getting hung up. And so we talked about that and talked about sales reluctance. And in a follow-up, he just had a question. He asked, any suggestions on how to rehearse, practice, or prep for my first sale? This is probably what makes me most nervous in trying and possibly failing at a pitch. And so I just put together a couple quick tips. I'll share them with you guys because I think you might find it useful. Even if you've already got a business, maybe you have some sales reluctance. Maybe you're trying to figure out how to really get your sales going. I've certainly been in that situation. And, maybe you're in the same situation that you're just trying to get your business even started. So the tips are, my first tip is the best way to practice your pitch is by giving your pitch. You have to commit to making a dozen or 100 or 1,000 pitches before you can give up in your business. As Ray Higdon likes to say, you've got to get your jersey dirty. The only way to get good at sales is to practice selling. And even if you want to sell online where you never actually have to talk to anybody face to face, early on, I would still say this is your best bet because it's in having those interactions that you're going to learn the language and learn what works and learn what people respond to, so that when you want to automate it and write copy around it, you know exactly what it is to say because you've already practiced that message enough times. You know how people are going to react to it. So the only way to practice is to actually get out there and do it. The other thing I wanted to mention is with respect to getting ready for the first sale. First sale can be a big milestone, and certainly you want to celebrate that. But it's also important to keep in mind that it's only the first step in a much longer process. You're in this for long-term success. You're not in this for your first sale. Hopefully a year from now, your first sale is just something that you look back on fondly and say, man, I can't believe how far I've come from there. Where right now it feels like this big roadblock. Once you get past that, then your business is actually getting started. This is just the first step. And like I said, your goal is to build a thriving, successful business making thousands of sales, which means you might have to generate millions of hits to a website or generate thousands of leads into your business so that you can have thousands of hours worth of sales conversations and really have an opportunity to convert these people. Now, that's not meant to scare you because it is the first step and it's an important first step. And I understand if you haven't gotten there, it feels big and daunting, but keep it in perspective. I've been doing this podcast for 2 years. I've got 212 episodes live right now. Every day this year, which has been about 70 days or so, I've released a new episode, a video, a blog post, and a podcast. And I'm only now really starting to feel like I'm finding my groove and getting the traction that I'm happy with. I'm only now starting to feel like I kind of know what the levers are that I need to pull to move the needle in the business. And I've enjoyed it along the way, and I've had some wins and I've had some struggles, but it's all part of the process. And this is what you're committing to, but you've got to put that time in. I couldn't be where I am if I hadn't released 212 episodes before today. I had a lot of technology stuff to work out. I had a lot of messaging stuff to work out. I had to have a lot of conversations with people to figure out what I should be talking about, how to talk about it effectively. And so hold that perspective because yes, this, success is important, but it's not something that's going to happen overnight. And the other thing I'd mention is that the progress, while there were a lot of up and downs, it tracked very closely with my own emotional health and mindset work. The more I've been able to do to improve my mindset and heal emotionally, the more capable and equipped and effective I've been building the business. And that's critically important. And then finally, in terms of the actual sales conversations, I would say focus on the value that you deliver. You can't sell to somebody else until you yourself are sold on the idea. You've got to believe in the value. You've got to understand it. You've got to really appreciate what it is that you're offering to people. And it's going to be much easier for you then to be able to speak to them about it. Is nobody really cares about you or the solution in itself. What they care about is what it's going to do for them, how it's going to make their lives better, how it's going to help them make more money, be more entertained, feel less pain. So you got to be speaking always about that solution and the value that it's offering into their lives. It's not about the cost of the product. It's about the value that they receive when they purchase it from you. And I've got a couple other episodes on the topic of sales and pricing, and I'll add links to those in the show notes. But those were just some quick thoughts on how to get started if you're really trying to get into this sales thing. I know sales reluctance is probably one of the biggest things that holds business owners back. In fact, I'm going to do an episode this week on the number one reason why businesses fail. And we all hear that it's because they're undercapitalized, because they don't have enough revenue, because they don't have enough money. And that goes back to sales. And so as a small business owner, how do you avoid that? And so you can keep an eye out for that. But I hope these tips today helped you. If you enjoyed the message, please consider sharing. And if you're working on your own mindset to become a more effective leader, a better problem solver, or just kind of more effective and productive across the board, and you might like my 20-minute free guided meditation, you can find that at bebuildhave.com/meditate. And until we speak again, be the person, build the business, and have the successful life that you want.